Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and today I'm going to be talking all about my breastfeeding experience and some tips and must-haves that I found that really helped me along the way. I breastfed my son for 17 months. We actually just finished last month, so I finally felt like I could do this video because I'm done with breastfeeding and I'm actually preparing and planning on breastfeeding my second baby. So as I'm planning to breastfeed my second, I've been thinking a lot about just everything that I kind of went through at the beginning and just thinking of all of those products and stuff that I used and kind of just preparing myself for the next baby. Alright, so first I'm going to talk about my own experience and kind of just my breastfeeding journey with my son a little bit, and then I'm going to get into my tips and must-haves after I talk about that. So if you're just looking for the tips and must-haves and you don't want to hear anything about my story or my journey, I'll put a timestamp somewhere on the screen so you can just skip ahead to that part. Alright, so if you are interested in hearing kind of a little bit about my journey, I'm not going to make this too long. I don't know, I like hearing other people's stories and kind of just like what they went through. I feel like it kind of helps prepare a little bit more, just so you can kind of go in with like more of an open mind as to what may or may not happen. So when I was pregnant, I planned on breastfeeding. I didn't really know much about it, but I just figured I would try it. I didn't really plan too much. Like, I wanted to do it, but I wasn't one of those people that was like, oh my god, like I really want to do it. Like, I thought maybe like for 6 months. I definitely thought I would be pumping and using bottles a lot more, which I'm going to talk about in a second, but I didn't really use that. So when I had Nolan, he immediately latched really well, so we got super lucky with how well he latched. We did kind of go through like some bumps in the very beginning. Sometimes it was hard for him to latch if he was too upset or tired or whatever. It would take a little bit longer to get him to latch on, but if you are having trouble, there's like definitely people at the hospital and there are lactation consultants that can help with that, but luckily we were pretty good. While I was breastfeeding, Nolan was a very slow eater, and this is something that I did not think about, and I don't know, it never crossed my mind that like they could eat for so long. And Nolan would literally breastfeed for like an hour and a half at a time, and in the middle of the night when you wake up, I like just thought he would eat for like 20 minutes and then go back to sleep. So trying to sit there for an hour and a half at 3 in the morning was like brutal because I could just never stay awake. And that's actually what led us to co-sleeping, which I'm not going to talk about in this video. It's a whole separate topic, whole separate video, but that's kind of how I survived. So it was super hard. I did try pumping. I got a free breast pump through my health insurance. A lot of insurances offer that, so definitely like if you are looking for a pump, you can get a free one, most likely through your insurance, because I know like a ton of people talk about that. A ton of different insurance companies do cover that, so you can definitely talk with your insurance, your OB, your hospital. Like, I think any of them will know more information. I think it's mostly just through your health insurance, but it's kind of different. So my plan was, once I had him and he was breastfeeding pretty well, I thought, you know, oh, I'll probably just see how it goes, but I kind of set a goal of like 6 months I would like to reach, just because it was going so well. And the only thing that I just could not do was pump. I feel like after, especially just because of how long he breastfed, after that hour and a half and then having to like hook myself up to the wall, I just did not want to sit there and pump. I was finally just done with breastfeeding him, that I didn't want to have to sit there any longer and pump. And then I feel like when I did pump, I didn't even get that much out. Like, I would get like this much, and I just felt stupid. I don't know, I just did not like pumping. I know that is not how it goes for everybody. A lot of people would rather pump. There are people who only like they exclusively pump, which I think is amazing. I just hated it. I don't know, to me it was not fun. Yeah, I feel like from there our journey was pretty smooth. Like, I never got mastitis or any kind of like infections or anything. I never had like cracked or bleeding sore nipples, like, you know, a lot of people get in the beginning, and I was lucky to not experience that. So yeah, it went pretty smooth. He was a pretty slow eater the entire time. It did get a lot shorter, like especially once he was eating solids, and as he like turned a year, he ate like much quicker. Then it was down to like 5 to 10 minutes, unless he was doing it for comfort. he usually would just nurse super quick. So our journey definitely got a lot better, and I feel like it was really nice around when he was like a year old. So we did hit that year mark, everything was good, and then so right when he turned 14 months, that day I actually found out that I was pregnant, and I didn't plan on stop breastfeeding him because I was pregnant. I know that a lot of people will continue, and that's perfectly safe and fine to do, so I just planned on doing that. And then a few weeks in, I think, or maybe like a month later, when he was like 15 months old, I kind of started getting issues then. I started getting really sore. I just remember being in a lot of pain, and a lot of times it just became very uncomfortable. It started hurting a lot more. I just started dreading it. Like, I went from like loving it and just like loving the bond and all of that stuff to like not even wanting to breastfeed at all. Like, I was so over it, and I did it just because he wasn't ready to be done, and I didn't want to like just abruptly stop him. So I continued as much as I could to breastfeed him, and that the end was pretty tough, I'm not gonna lie. I think it was just because I was pregnant and super sensitive and sore that I just couldn't do it anymore. So I did wean him slowly, which I'm gonna make a whole separate video on, because that was like its own, that's just a separate topic. But I did wean him by 17 months. So that's a little bit about our journey, and now I'm gonna get into your must-haves and tips. Number one must-have, along with a tip, is lanolin cream. They will probably give this to you in the hospital. If not, they sell it any kind of like nipple cream or butters or oils, whatever you want to buy. You obviously can like look up whichever one you want to use, but lanolin cream is like, or lanolin. I always say lanolin because it sounds like Nolan, but it's just a cream you apply after every feeding, and it can help prevent or help with cracked nipples, sore, bleeding, whatever. So my tip is like the most important one, I think, and that is to apply right from the beginning, like day one, after every feeding. Even if you don't feel like you need it, you're not sore or anything, get in the habit of applying it right away after you're done, because it definitely helps to prevent anything. And I think that's the whole reason like it went so smooth for us in the beginning, like because I just was so good with applying that cream after every single feeding. You don't have to worry like if you feed your baby and then you put it on and then say like 20 or 30 minutes later like they want to feed again, you don't have to worry about like wiping it off. It's safe for them, but there's no point in like I wouldn't put it on like right before I'd feed them, because that would, no point in that. But so lanolin cream, definitely a must-have. Also, side note, if you want to go find any of these products, I'll have all the exact products I'm talking about linked below. So the next thing is nipple shields, and I did not know anything about these. I literally was just at Target one day walking through the aisle and I saw them, and I was like, I had no clue what they were, but for some reason I was like, oh, I feel like maybe I should just get them just in case. Like, I didn't even know what they were used for, but I just saw that they were with the breastfeeding stuff, so I was like, I don't know, I'll just get them. Got them. They kind of sat in my room for a little bit in the beginning, and I want to say maybe around 3 or 4 weeks I started getting a little bit sore and Nolan wasn't latching as well, so I got those out, and they're so easy. You literally just put it right on top of you and they can breastfeed. They can latch really easily. This is also really great if you have flattened or inverted nipples, because I think that's mostly what they're used for, but anybody can use them, and they are really good for helping with pain and helping baby latch. So say that you are already super sore and that cream isn't like helping as instantly as you need it, but you still want to feed your baby, you can definitely use nipple shields. All right, the third thing I want to talk about is a boppy. I think any kind of nursing pillow. If you don't know what the boppy is, I feel like most people do. It's just like a pillow that kind of goes, it's like a C shape, kind of goes just around you, so you can like rest your arms with the baby in it, and it makes breastfeeding so much easier. Also recommend bringing this to the hospital, because I had it with our hospital stuff, and then last minute was just like, oh, like we have so much stuff, we don't need that, we can leave it. And I regretted it so much, because I was trying to stuff all these pillows underneath me and they were all just sliding away, and it was very frustrating. So definitely bring this to the hospital. But Boppy is super, super nice. I also know there's another pillow, yeah, My Breast Friend, that's what it's called, and it also has like a back on it. That one has like really, really good reviews. A lot of people rave about that, so I might get it. Depends, but you can do your research and decide which one you want. Next thing might seem a little bit more obvious, but that is nursing bras. I'm gonna have my favorite ones linked below, but I just felt like adding this because it's a must-have, and at least for me. I know some people just use a regular bra, but I still, even though I'm not nursing, wear them because I think they're just more comfortable and they were super easy. I like the like cross front ones instead of the ones with the clip. Okay, the next must-have are nursing pads, and I really liked using the reusable ones. They have disposable too, which I think was nice for in the beginning when I wasn't sure like how long I was gonna be breastfeeding. But then after I realized how quickly I was going through them, I quickly just got the reusable ones. I got a few packs of them because of how fast I would go through those too, but they were definitely very nice to have. I just remember, I don't think I leaked like while I was at the hospital. I think I might have brought them still, but when I got home, I just remember like a few days later sleeping and waking up in the middle of the night and my shirt was soaked, and I was so confused why, and I was like, what the heck happened? Like, why is my shirt soaked? It's because I leaked that much, and it's super, super normal in the beginning when your milk is like coming in and adjusting and all, especially when you're feeding. You always have like a letdown from the other side. That continued to happen throughout my entire breastfeeding journey, so I literally used these for over a year. So the next must-have is the Haka. I feel like so many people talk about this. You've probably heard of it if you've watched any kind of baby mom nursing breastfeeding video. The Haka is really nice, and also this is a second tip that I have, is if you aren't interested in pumping, or you don't want to do it but you also at the same time want to, you know what I mean, like you want to catch the milk but you also don't want to have to do all the work of pumping, the Haka is so great because you just fold the top down and you just put it on the opposite side than what you're feeding on, and it just catches all that milk that would go in the nursing pad. You just catch it all in there, and it's like definitely an easier way to collect a lot of milk. I've seen people build freezer stashes from just using the Haka. Like, that's how much people get, and they use it every single feeding, which I did not. I was really bad with it, but I definitely plan on using this so much more. My last must-have is one that I loved using, and I still have them somewhere, but they are these hot and cold packs. You can either put them in the freezer or you can put them in the microwave. So I'm gonna read this like directly from the exact ones that I got. But the cold helps to reduce pain and swelling caused by engorgement, and then the hot is used to relieve plugged ducts or mastitis, and the hot can also help with milk flow. So a little tip if you like are in need of something ASAP is just like hot water from a shower. Oh, my thing is gonna run out of space. So my camera ran out of space, but anyway. Alright, so that is all of my must-haves, and now on to a couple extra tips that I have. Number one is to stay super, super hydrated. This definitely helps with your milk supply, so you definitely want to stay like super hydrated. But really water is just perfect. Coconut water, or a lot of people like the Body Armor drinks because if you don't like the flavor of coconut water, I know those have them in them, but they're also very sugary, so you can have whatever you like, find what works for you, but definitely just staying super hydrated. A lot of people, including myself, in the beginning especially with breastfeeding, you just get super, super thirsty, so you definitely want to make sure you have like a lot of drinks or like with you before you start your feeding. That was like a must-have in my little like nursing station. I always had a drink, along with my second tip, which is snacks. I always had like Cliff bars and granola bars and crackers, tons of snacks. People usually get a very big appetite, which makes sense because you're burning calories actually while breastfeeding, so definitely having snacks nearby, also in case you just get trapped there for an hour and a half. My next tip is having a scrunchie, any kind of ponytail or bracelet that you wear like all the time. So this I really like doing to keep track of which side I nursed on, because sometimes it's hard to tell and you kind of want to like go back and forth, make sure you're like being even with it. So I would always put a scrunchie after like I fed him. I would keep it on the side that I just fed him. I use this to keep track of which side I fed him on, so that was like super easy and definitely helped me. And also in the beginning, just logging it, like I used the Baby Plus app to log all the feedings, so that way I knew which side and how long and what time and all of that. But after I stopped using that app, I just used a scrunchie. And my last tip I think is the most important, and that is just putting your mental health first. Breastfeeding can be awesome and amazing, and it can be great, but it also can be super hard and difficult and just a struggle for a lot of people. And if it starts to weigh a lot more like on your mental health, it's definitely best to just do what is best for you and just prioritize that, and just know that like it's okay if you cannot breastfeed for your goal or as long as you wanted or at all, whatever it is. Just, or if you don't want to pump, like for me that was like my thing, was like pumping was just like not good for my mental health. And like I talked about in the beginning, the second I stopped pumping, like I felt like so much better, and I think that was just like a lot with my mental health. It was just too hard for me. So definitely just prioritize that, put that first, and make that a priority. That was all for my breastfeeding video. I hope you guys got some good must-haves and tips, and don't forget, I'll have everything linked below if you want to check anything out. And thank you guys for watching. I hope this helps you out a lot, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.